Well, I decided that it was actually worth it to do another video from Macomb, Illinois. So this is a follow-up to the skate park video. But a good reason is because this is like one of the unique towns. I don't know how many there are like this actually that have like two squares. A lot of small towns. It's common anyway. I'll say it that way. It's common for small towns in America to have like a square, which is like there'll be like a courthouse or a government building in the center of the square, and then there'll be businesses just like here, like surrounding the courthouse, and then it's on like a square, like the streets kind of come together, and like to make the square around. I see it says. Well, we'll get over there, but you'll see when I get to the other side. Hopefully, we'll still have some light. But this town has like they have like it's common like so. I don't know. My guess is it depends how big the town is. I think it's once you get to like 10,000 or 10, 15,000, and then up to like 40,000 or so. That would maybe be considered like when you might have a square, I guess. But so when I say it's common, if you looked at towns between like 10, 15,000 and then up to like 40 or so thousand, I don't know, maybe it's like 30% of them have a square or 50, I don't know. They're not uncommon, let's put it that way. But if you look at all those towns that have the squares, it'd be very unusual to have. And this actually says on the square. So just so you know, for those who are unfamiliar with a square, so this restaurant Chicks is actually incorporating the square into their marketing, what they do. So they got looks like a used bookstore, and I guess Little Stitches is like more maybe crafts and stuff. Maybe it's connected with that bookstore. This is a nice sign that looks pretty new. Purdom Electric. Not sure what that is, but yeah. So the stores surround the square, and but what's really unusual is to have two squares. This is a town that has a college. I don't know if that has anything to do with having two squares. Looks like they've made. I was here probably about maybe 10 years ago, and I don't remember. Some of this stuff seems new since the time I was here back then. I mean, is it possible that this looks like it's a? I guess this is a bank that this was built. I don't know. I really don't know. Doesn't seem possible to me. Okay, so back to the square. Now, as you've been looking around, there's all these Monopoly things. So I guess they're doing like some sort of, there's something about Monopoly going on here, and they've like really gone to extraordinary lengths to create these Monopoly pieces and sort of create a Monopoly board on the square. We saw that back over there with the Get Out of Jail Free, and I was thinking at the time that that was some sort of promotion for that bar over on the other side, the other corner there. But it looks like it's. I wasn't sure, but now it looks like they actually made a whole Monopoly board. I guess this Go. This is the beginning. Oh, here it is. The world's largest Monopoly game. Macomb-mopoly. All right, so yeah, and you start and you go this way, so you could play Monopoly, I guess. But yeah, I'm going the other way. We already maybe we'll find out more about that. But that's like a pretty elaborate top hat. These pieces. But yeah, so skill space, what we're really out here for, aside from 2 squares, is really like skill space. Okay, do you want to do skills on the courthouse lawn? Probably not. But, if you, this is interesting too, because a lot of towns do not have like all this wide street for their squares. So this is like an unusual like town layout. Like when they put this together to have all of this space like far apart, like that's just really unusual. But yeah, like if you're local and you get like clearance from the mayor or the city council, which wherever what you have in your town, maybe you can use a space like this. You could say like, oh, on so this is a historic courthouse, and you have the looking for Lincoln stories, and so this is part of the Lincoln locations where Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, was a lawyer, and he was traveling all around Illinois to places like Macomb here. So yeah, if you got the permission from Abraham Lincoln and the city council, different places have different kind of governments. But yeah, maybe you could have like a meetup here, and if not here, if that is not the appropriate place, like some other place in town, and that's like a great way to have like a skill space. I think I mentioned it before, but it's really the kind of thing where you need like, I would say like don't go for that stuff until you have like 3 or 4, ideally 4, but like 3 or 4 like solid like sort of like team players, who like people who are like actually going to they're showing up and like they're making the the meetups like a regular thing, like you get some dependability. Usually a lot of that stuff has to come with like the big thing is passing. Usually like it kind of like gets related and like connected up with club passing. So once you get the clubs going and then you start club passing, people want to, you can't club pass alone, so people want to come out and do the club passing. Then the kendama and the slack line and the hoops and everyone else is like, okay, now we got a space. Of course, the slack line are going to want a place that has trees that are close together, which in this case, a little far, but you'd be surprised how far apart the trees are for some of the slack lines. I guess this is part of this Macombopoly. And so, yeah, this is interesting because this Monopoly stuff was definitely not here when I was here last. But it's interesting to me because of this whole thing with 2 squares. So like somehow it kind of fits that they would have this like Monopoly, or like I don't know about Monopoly. I don't know what the story with the Monopoly is. If it's because maybe there's some history with Monopoly in this town. I really don't know. I'll find out maybe or not. One way or the other. Maybe in this video, maybe somewhere else. You could do your own research as well. But yeah, so like somehow this all got put together with them. But the whole thing with the 2 squares. So it's like you've got the one square, the main square that has the courthouse, and then you have this other square, which I could show you over here. So we'll take a look at that before the light goes away as the sun is setting. But that's interesting to me because they're like accentuating the sort of like the main square. So if they're, in this case, you have 2 squares, so they're not like, one of them has got the courthouse and the other square has a park. And I guess the other square, this square over here, is maybe, well, we'll see. We'll see what we can find out over here. So this is Western Illinois. Western Illinois University. So this is, I mean, this is like sort of like a straight up like college town. But it also has other things as well. Here is a mural. With Obama and other civil rights leaders. And we have a fish tank. Very important. Very nice fish tank. It's really impressive when you have like a really nice fish tank. I was in Urbana, Illinois, and they had this really, really elaborate fish tank, and they said they were either selling it or they had to take it down because the property was being sold. It was really sad because you could see all the it was a saltwater fish tank, and you could see all the all this I guess algae and plant life that had grown in there. There's a nice gazebo in the center of the second, I guess this would be the second square. And I guess, someone might say, it's not, the second square is not really a square, but kind of is. So, I mean, at the very least, it's like a 3/5 square. I mean, I don't see any, there's no stores over here. So does that mean that's not a square? I think I've seen squares that have, like 3 sides, or as far as like businesses are concerned. So, okay, skill space. I don't know. This is a maybe, actually. This one's interesting, actually, because you're like you're right off the square, off the secondary square. This might be a problem, because people want to park. They want to park, so you don't want to interfere with anyone's car or have the chance of the props. So it's like if no one's right now, no one's parked here. If you had 2 people passing clubs here or 1 person doing hoops or something, I think it might work out. And if you like that visibility, if you want people to see your your craft, your skill, your talent, I mean, one of the things is we're trying to move away from this idea of showing off. It's more like, hey, I'm out here, I'm practicing, I'm doing my thing, I'm experiencing the skill, I'm experiencing the and it's more of my personal experience that I'm sort of out there and sharing. And so it's not about oh, look at me, I'm doing this stuff. Plus you're kind of not putting on a hat either. That's a whole nother thing we talked about already with street performing and things like that. So but yeah, here, boom, right here, I mean, if that spot over there, back there, by the pizza place, if that was a question, I mean, look at all of this here, here in the park. I see a lot of possibilities here. This is the kind of thing where it's if you go to the city council, wherever you are, whether you're in Macomb or some other place, and you're hey, I want to do the skill thing on the courthouse, over there. There's the courthouse, you can see right there. So if you wanted to do the courthouse, it's you know what, maybe you don't need to do the courthouse. Maybe you, maybe someplace over here is just as good, and you'll get a lot more space. So, yeah, it's nice. It's nice. A lot of space. So, cool.